This goes out from AP. So JFK director Oliver Stone calls for a reinvestigation of Kennedy's 1963 assassination. Let's see how honest AP's being in this storyline. Okay. Oscar-winning director Oliver Stone, whose 91 film JFK portrayed John F. Kennedy's assassination as the work of a shadowy government conspiracy, called Tuesday. He called Tuesday for a new congressional investigation in the killing during a hearing that aired conspiracy theories about it. So there you go with the attacking, the punching down. We know the drill, guys. Attack, attack, attack. Okay. The freewheeling hearing at the House Task Force on the Declassification of Federal Secrets, where partisan grievances were aired, followed last month's release of thousands of pages of government documents. You guys know we covered this related to the assassination. The task force Republican chair opened the proceedings by questioning the Warren Commission's investigation conclusion that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone in fatally shooting Kennedy as his motorcade finished a parade route down downtown Dallas on November 22nd, 1963. And here comes the real smear here. Scholars say the files that the President Donald Trump ordered to be released showed nothing undercutting the conclusion that the lone gunman killed Kennedy. Of course, it shows more, but that's the thing. You guys know it's there. They're pretending it's not there. Our only complaint was that we already knew it was there before the files were released. They're going the other direction and saying, no. When you look through the files, it's clear that it's the conclusion is very clear. Oh, a lone gunman, magic bullet. We know. Okay. Many documents were previously released, but contained newly removed redactions, including social security numbers, angering people whose personal information was disclosed. Oh, there you go. Blaming the whistleblower again, blaming the revealing of information of nefarious activities by the U.S. government and the U.S. government agencies. Let's blame the whistleblowers on that. But again, nothing new was actually put out. But Oliver Stone was so angry about that we're not making this progress that he did show up at this hearing. And we get to hear a little bit about how he presented and what he had to say. Here we go.
I asked the committee to reopen what the Warren Commission failed miserably to complete. I ask you in good faith, outside all political considerations, to reinvestigate the assassination of this President Kennedy from the scene of the crime to the courtroom, which never happened, but which means the chain of custody on the rifle, the bullets, the fingerprints, the autopsy that defies belief, and that if it were a murder, we'd have given to the poorest man dying in a gutter. Let us reinvestigate the fingerprints of intelligence all over Lee Harvey Oswald from 1959 to 1960, his violent death in 1963. And most importantly, this CIA, whose muddy footprints are all over this case, a true interrogation. James Angleton, before he died, who was one of the original members of the CIA.
This is the guy he's talking about. That was he was the go-between with the Israeli lobby at the time, which was the American Zionist. It's still AIPAC. It was just called American Zionist, and he was the middleman to that in the Mossad. So that's all in there. We know this. They're all pretending like it's not, but Oliver Stone knows. He knows.
Was talking about Dulles and Helms and the others, what he called the Grand Masters. And he's a Catholic. Angleton was a Catholic, in search perhaps of repentance before his death. He did say, quote, if you were in a room with them, you were in a room full of people that you had to believe would deservedly end up in hell. I guess I will see them soon. This is our democracy. This is our presidency. It belongs to us. Treat us with respect. Thank you.
So, his speech was about 9 minutes. That's the tail end of it. And you see this woman sitting there. She called herself Mrs. Luna. Anna Paulina Luna. We're going to get to her in a moment, but just take a mental note, guys, because we're going to get to her in just a second, and her background and what her job is here, which will help us understand a little more about the entire psyop of the operation. Which I'm unsure if Oliver Stone is fully aware of the psyop here, because there are people like Mrs. Luna here, who are going to present like she has his back and she wants to get to the truth, versus people like Jasmine Crockett, who are there to bully and make fun of and put everybody in one box. So like, and if you have a problem, you are a conspiracy theorist. Republicans are pieces of crap. And Oliver Stone never identified as Republican, so it's ridiculous. So let's play. This is so again, everyone's playing their roles. This is Jasmine Crockett and her complete obliviousness on purpose, but obliviousness of what Oliver Stone is sitting there about, and she's bringing up the Signalgate situation. And again, these are all situations, Signalgate, JFK, where there, and you saw the AP had alluded to this, that we shouldn't be asking questions because you're putting America at risk by having information come out, even if it incriminates the American government, especially if it incriminates the American government, because you're giving away your plans to the bad guys, to the enemy, and we're giving our secrets away. So you got to lock up the whistleblower. So here's a quick, somebody shot this off their TV, but just watch Oliver Stone's reaction as Jasmine Crockett is saying her line of BS, and on purpose, just completely oblivious to why everybody's even in that room right now.
Trump officials were carelessly discussing classified military plans over an unsecure Signal group chat, and instead of providing oversight over the administration.
Oh my God. Look at it. Look at Oliver Stone. He's like, what is wrong with this woman? And again, he thinks he's got some champions there, like Anna Paulina Luna, who we'll get to in a second. But this woman clearly is not a champion of Jasmine Crockett. So he just looks exhausted listening to this crap as she talks about, drones on about the Signalgate chat and how Republicans and conspiracy theorists are the worst people in the world. Of course, anti-Semitic people are worse, but they're the top tier worst people in the world as far as she's concerned.
Administration's handling of classified information, the Republicans have spent a week trying to convince the American people that the military plans were not classified. So instead of giving a platform to conspiracy theories, and let me be clear, there are holes. I don't want y'all to think that I don't think that there are holes. But when we're looking back, we need to look back so that we can look forward and hopefully do better. So that is why I am bringing us to present day. It might be
in order to we want to look at the crimes of the past, but in order to prosecute crimes of the past, we got to look forward. So we're going to just look forward while I do my presidenting. Since the last president and his presidenting, there might be crimes, but it's just better for our national security if the way we do our lawyering and our presidenting, we're just going to look forward. Yeah, good job there, Jasmine Crockett. And yes, you can feel the exhaustion in the room from Oliver Stone. And then this is the one I put up earlier. But just this is a reaction from 911 Gene. Oliver Stone directed JFK, which pinned. Now, this is the question being answered. If you guys are wondering, well, why doesn't Oliver Stone get more vocal about Israel? What's going on there? Like, what is he trying to do here? His movie doesn't mention Israel at all. If you guys have seen JFK, it doesn't mention Israel. So according to 911 Gene, and this is some good insight for you guys, and this is all true, this all checks out, Oliver Stone directed JFK, which pinned the assassination on the CIA. Yes, which was, you were not supposed to do that. It was a very controversial thing he did at the time. And it still kind of is. But he never mentioned Israel. The movie was produced by Ernon Milken, an Israeli spy and weapons trafficker who helped secure parts for Israel's nuclear bombs. The movie never mentions Israel. Wish he would have said this. And then 911 Gene attaches this clip of Oliver Stone. This is late at the end of last year, during the election cycle. Oliver Stone was in an interview, and he talks about this from his own mouth. And it's too bad he doesn't go into that hearing and say anything like this. Here we go.
John Kennedy was very much opposed to Israel getting the bomb. He nixed it. He absolutely nixed it. He did not, and he was coming over to make the inspections very rigid. They were building the factory at Dimona. That was a big issue. Kennedy was killed. Lyndon Johnson signed off and let the Israelis do what they want. They opened the Dimona facility in 1968. Americans didn't even know because Johnson put out a directive. He says, don't talk about it. So to this day, I mean, Americans, some of them don't even know that they illegally have the nuclear bomb.
We know on the Homeless Left, we know. You guys know watching at home. But no, the average person doesn't know. And how great would it have been if any of that was just a hint of it in the JFK film? I mean, and it was a great film. I mean, man, you got to give Oliver Stone credit. He got the film made. You know, he had to jump over so many hurdles just to have those discussions about CIA infiltration and the mob and all these different things coming out of there that completely derailed this magic bullet theory and the people just asking questions. It was a great film, but he had to deal with in real life as he's making the film. He has to deal with this a-hole Israeli spy that is allowing it to be greenlit in Hollywood, which we know is run by Zionists. It's Hollywoke, Zionist Hollywoke. We know this, and Oliver Stone knows, and he says it in the interview. I don't know if it's in this clip, but this is a long interview. And at one point, he says, "I could not make JFK if I mentioned Israel. They would not have allowed the movie to be released, and then none of us would be talking about it at all." So him coming in with this attitude to the hearing, someone probably told him, or he's probably realized, I got to back off a little. If I even allude to any of this, they're going to be like, get this anti-Semitic a-hole out of here, and you're never working in Hollywood ever again. Now, they already canceled his Ukraine film, Ukraine on Fire. Netflix pulled the plug on that one in 2014 because nobody wants to hear about the backstory of what led to Putin invading Ukraine. So he's been in the crosshairs of censorship. Absolutely. So let's hear a little more of this, and then we're going to get to, don't worry, we didn't forget about you, Anna Paulina Luna. We're going to get to you in a second, who Oliver Stone thinks is championing him, or maybe he knows she's not, or he's hopeful she is. Nobody's championing him. This is all theater. But let's see, what if he had walked in and said this? If you're not going to get anything anyways, you might as well go in and say something like this that you would say on a podcast, that any of them can go watch this, by the way. This isn't secret. Go watch Oliver Stone talk like this. He has a lot to say. He's got to say something about Netanyahu after this. Check this out.
So that complicates the whole issue. You know, who's going to turn over? You see, that's enriched uranium. That's very dangerous. We're talking about low energy, low radioactivity. We're talking about 2-3% uranium that's enriched, and that's all we need for energy. So the Israelis are not good for this. This is something that would be, I mean, they could do it, but they don't want to mix up their, they want the highly enriched uranium. That's all that interests them. They want the bomb because they want to fucking blow up Iran. That's their only interest, I think. And Netanyahu's a madman. And I repeat that. To me, he's a madman. I met him years ago. I interviewed him when he was out of office. And I thought he was a madman then. And I think he's gotten worse and worse and worse. He's truly insane.
So again, this is just to timestamp this, guys. This took place in the fall of last year, right when I think the Democrats were switching up the Biden Harris situation because Trump annihilated him in that debate. And this is the conversation Oliver Stone was having. And so I don't know who he voted for. I don't know if he stayed home. I don't know. Maybe he went third party. I hope he went third party. I know he didn't vote for the Democrats. I mean, I don't know. I can't say for sure. I don't know who Oliver Stone voted for. But the point is, he has an opportunity now because of this whole, it's the JFK files being released, and we have this opportunity. And I guess he feels like if he just goes in there speaks his mind, not like this. He's got to be more careful. As you guys saw in the clip, he's be a little more careful with his word choices, but he's saying just for the sake of humanity, the sake of the people, like, we got to know what happened. Just, can you guys do a little bit more on this and stop pretending? Because we can see it. It's clear as day. The fact that you're still going with the one-man operation from the library window bullshit, he just says, you guys got to do a little better. And now here's the real problem. The woman that's supposedly championing this and that a lot of the MAGAs love, her name is Anna Paulina Luna. And she's talking on all the Fox News channels before this. She's talking about how we're getting to the bottom of it. She sounds just like Pam Bondi with all the, we're going to release the Epstein. We're going to do this. We're going to get to the bottom of it. Are you? Well, let's hear. Well, first of all, this is the champion. This is the one that's not going to call Oliver Stone a conspiracy theorist. This is the one that's going to be like, no, we got your back. We're doing this. We're fighting. And I'm in a position of power to do that. Okay, here she is.
NBC has been keeping this tape of Oswald under wraps?
Correct. In fact, Director Stone actually told us that he was showed this tape, that it was a secondary copy, and that he said that this could blow open the entire JFK investigation. What I will also tell you, though, Jesse, is he said that NBC's been very, very much so guarding this tape. And so I believe that that tape belongs to the American people. We are going to be sending a letter asking for that tape. And I would encourage everyone to ask NBC to release that tape to the public. It's important, not just for our investigations, but so the American people know the truth as to what happened with John F. Kennedy.
Oh. I mean, again, like, I understand, like, I understand the sentiment of MAGAs, and they hear this, we're going to get to the bottom of it. And I'm talking to Oliver Stone, and we got this tape, and none of it is going to lead back to Israel. None of it. How do we know? Well, here's what we know about Anna Paulina Luna, as she calls herself. According to DC Life, Anna Paulina's real name is Anna Meyerhofer. Oh, that's interesting. So did she change her name from a Jewish name? She might have. Sounds like she did. She's a friend of Netanyahu, of course. It's all theater. We will never know who are all the Epstein, blackmail, child raping, satanic billionaires, politicians who kill and rape our kids are. And we're not. And you should add this in DC Life. We're not going to know the JFK files either. It's all being protected. All of this. That we're not going to know the 9/11 files either. There's not going to be any exposing of the real culprit behind any of this stuff, because it's all a farce and they're all involved. And yes, she did change her name so she can go with her Latina vibe and be the Mexican she's the diverse and I'm not Jewish and I don't have that tie. No, she's tweeted out Netanyahu is a friend of hers. So this isn't just a gotcha picture that she didn't want to be in. She's tweeted it out herself. And this is I guess who Oliver Stone is banking on is going to be the person that tells the other, Democrats to shut the F up and let's do the job Trump wants us to do, and sounding like Pam Bondi and sounding like Kash Patel, but not actually getting anything done. So on one hand, yes, we're glad that Oliver Stone showed up, opened his mouth and spoke. I wish he had done a little bit more like he did in that more raw podcast. I hope he doesn't have his hopes up, but no, nothing's going to happen. It's good that he time-stamped it. He showed up. He's talking about it. Maybe people that haven't seen JFK should go see it, but it is tame compared to what we know now. It is tame. There's a lot of things that become tame when we see them again. We thought they were so powerful at the time, like Michael Moore's film Fahrenheit 9/11. We thought in 2004, wow, he really is getting to the bottom of Iraq and the illegal war there. No, he doesn't get to the bottom of it. He just starts the conversation. I think that's where we are now with some of these these filmmakers, whether documentary or reenactment of sorts, like based on a true story investigation pieces, like Michael Moore, like Oliver Stone has done. Both of them have done many times in different mediums, whether it's scripted or documentary. But we go back to these films and we go, oh, that didn't. It seems a little weak. Not to say that not everything in these films are 100% true, and there are questions that need to be asked. They just don't go deep enough. Why don't they go deep enough? Because they're just starting a conversation that maybe we weren't ready to have at the time. Now we are. So we need more filmmakers like Oliver Stone, like Michael Moore used to be. He used to be a good filmmaker. We need more people stepping up and making challenging films. People like Mickey Willis, who was on the show last week. You guys check out that interview if you haven't seen it. But more people challenging the narrative, and then we could have more people like Oliver Stone going into these places, these meetings, and championing their art, and knowing that he have followers and fans that have seen their work and have been affected by the work, and they're just starting conversations that we need to continue. It's our job to continue these conversations and keep going down these rabbit holes that barely got uncovered. We need to go even further. And that's the job I think maybe Oliver Stone wants us to do. Maybe he's passing the baton to us, unless he's got another movie in the works that we don't know about. But yeah, we have to take the baton when we see it and keep running as far and hard and as determined as we can, because the truth needs to be discovered and justice needs to be done.